A budget Android phone, but is it any good? Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and not everything I look at is super expensive, although it might sometimes seem that way. For example, today we're looking at this. This is the NUU Mobile G3 unlocked Android smartphone, and it is actually a really nice phone, and when we get to the price later in this review, you will be surprised, quite surprised, how inexpensive it is. It is so inexpensive that it's basically like 1 or 2 payments for one of those fancy new Samsungs. And that's the thing, is that yeah, you can spend $1,000 on a smartphone, but if you lose it or break it, you're a very sad person. So getting a budget phone, there's some compromises inevitably, but you'd be surprised. In fact, I think you'll be surprised as we go along today, and you'll see that there's not a lot of compromise, and there's a lot of great features, starting with this nice, bright, vivid screen. Now on camera it's not looking quite as good, but when I'm looking at it, this is as beautiful a screen as anything I've ever seen. Now here's the thing, it's 5.7 inches diagonally, and it's only 1440 by 720. So I know the purists are going to say, oh, 720, that's not even full HD, let alone that super dense 5,000 pixels per inch or anything. But the reality is unless you're doing something like this, you don't really need it to be that high density a screen. This looks really nice. In fact, let's just jump right in, and you can look over my shoulder for a second, but let's go into Netflix, and so now I'm looking at watching a little bit of Star Wars, and when you look over my shoulder, you can see it looks really good. You know, is this as good as watching it on TV? Well, no, of course it's not, but is it eminently watchable on a device this size that fits in your pocket? Oh, heck yeah. You know, so again, I know the purists are thinking, you know, I really want it to be super high definition, but okay, are you willing to pay $500 or $600 for that? So let's talk about the tech inside of this too. This is powered by a MediaTek Helio P25 octa-core CPU. It is 4 GB ROM, 64 GB of storage, and support for a micro SD card, so you can put in even more storage if you want. It's running Android 8.0 Oreo, so it's not the very latest, but honestly, for non-Google Android phones, this is actually the latest version. Supports dual SIMs, which is great if you have a work phone and a home phone, or if you travel internationally, you can get an international SIM for when you're out of the country and still keep your regular phone number. So that's nice. Front camera is 13 megapixels. The rear camera, and you can see it's centered here, is dual 13 megapixels. So now let me show you, here's an example. This photo I took at Whole Foods, and you can see it's bright and vivid and crisp. I mean, that's pretty darn nice. Now, it's using its 5 megapixel depth camera for some of the focus and stuff, but also, of course, the camera's also doing a nice job with video. So let's look at this. This is just a couple of seconds handheld, which is why it's slightly shaky, handheld of water in a frozen river. So check this out. I would say that's actually pretty nice looking footage. So, you know, not too bad for a camera and built into a phone at this price level. So, you know, would the Google Pixel 3 or the Apple iPhone XS Max or something do a better job? Possibly, but again, if you're just looking to get candid photos of your kids or something, then you don't really need the state of the art. I know most of the industry wants to push you to buy new, better, better, but honestly, if a lot of people do just fine sticking with what they already have. Now, one interesting thing is it has fingerprint recognition on the back, but it also supports facial recognition. So once you have that set up, and I actually talk about how to set up both on my AskDaveTaylor.com website. So if you don't know how to do it, check out my site, you'll get the information. But I can unlock it either way, with fingerprint or with my face. That's nice. Or of course I could just use a pin like most people are used to. Easy enough. And let's see, give a quick tour of the edges. So on the top there's nothing going on other than the slot for the SIM card. On the side, volume up, volume down, and power, standard stuff. On the bottom they have a USB-C charging port and slots for both speakers, and then on the other side there ain't nothing. So what is it missing? it. Like so many phones now, doesn't have a 3.5 millimeter AUX/headphone jack. So, like so many phones, and you know, it's sort of a mixed bag, I'm getting used to it now, you do not have the option of plugging in headphones. Now, it does come with a USB-C to headphone adapter, but realistically, most people I don't think are going to use that. Just go Bluetooth, it's easy enough. And let's see, the battery, it's a 3000 milliamp hour battery with fast charge via USB-C, and it runs roughly 15 hours or so. You double check on the NUU mobile website for the latest specs from them. And that's really all I wanted to share with you about this phone. It's light. It's very well designed, it's elegant, it has a bright, vivid screen. It works just fine for watching movies or checking out photos from friends, taking your own photos or your own video. I mean, there's so much now that's just sort of like the commodity phone that when you look at these phones and they're $700, $800, $900, $1,000, it's a little hard to understand why you need to spend that much money. You know, so the great thing about a phone like this, and we'll get to the price, we're so close, but you know, the great thing about a budget priced phone is if it's a teenager and they lose it, or if it's grandma and she breaks it, whatever, you just get another one, right? It's not that incredibly expensive, which isn't to say it's super cheap, but you know, the price is actually pretty darn impressive. Now, before we get to the price, let me ask, subscribe. If you can subliminally subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate that. And if you are using a non-top-of-the-line latest fancy phone, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're using and how it's working for you. My guess is a lot of people aren't using the state-of-the-art, and they're doing just fine. So, with that, let's talk price. NUU Mobile G3, and you can see this is the swanky blue color. It will cost you $199 at Amazon.com. It comes in ruby, sapphire, tiger's eye, and purple garnet. But here's the thing, if you check the NUU Mobile website, the purple garnet, at least when I recorded this video, was on a special price of $169. $169 for a fully functional, very nice, pretty darn impressive and quite functional Android smartphone. That's a pretty good price. That is comparable to like 2 or 3 months payment on that S9 or S10 or something, right? So before you go down the road of buying the most expensive one out there because someone's good at selling you stuff, you really want to check out some of the options too. Now, is this as fast? Is this as capable? Does it have 5,000 cases and stuff? No, it doesn't have any of that. You know, it's a little slower. But honestly, for the vast majority of what I do, performance doesn't matter. You know, can it run Spotify? Can I watch a movie on Netflix? Can I check my email? Can I text with someone? All of them work just fine. And if the launch time is 1.7 seconds instead of 0.9 seconds, does anyone really notice? Yeah, kind of what I figure. So, I'm a fan. I really think NUU Mobile has a nice one here, and there are a lot of other companies doing, you know, sort of off-brand, less popular company doing Android phones that you should definitely check out. So, NUU Mobile G3, I am getting back to Star Wars. Let me get that back up here. So I will catch you in my next video.